Hello, everybody. This is Casey here to do our Friday night spiritual chat. Everybody doing Mojo, of course. JoJo just put up Libra. How do you like that? Okay, JoJo, that's not fair. Okay, so let's do trigger warning. Oh my gosh, JoJo. Okay, trigger warning. Hi, Alban. So JoJo's on premiering Libra right now. That's not fair. I try to be supportive with him. Okay, so let's do a collective reading for the week. How you doing tonight, Alban? That's crazy. I think we ended with this card last week, if I remember right. Oh, hi, Tiffany. How you doing, hun? Okay, so the energy for the next week, first card I have up was the Strength card. Just up and down, Alban, up and down. Okay. The Strength card. So that's tapping into your inner reserves, your gifts, your talents, abilities, your resilience, your courage. Okay. It's to me, it's also Beauty and the Beast. She has used her love and compassion and her gentleness in order to connect with the beast, to connect with the shadow side within, and she's made some peace with herself, right? So the next card is the High Priestess. The High Priestess talks about there's a lot of things going on behind the scene. FaceTime the twin flame today. So cool, Tiff. Okay. So follow your intuition, follow your knowing. There's a lot of things going on behind the scenes. There may be some I associate this card with Akashic Records for some reason. There may be some things that were fated that were meant to be that are supposed to happen. Okay. And then I have the Eight of Swords. It's like being stuck in limbo, not knowing which direction to go. You know, it's a mental thing. It's you having yourself stuck. Because look, okay, her feet are not tied. Her hands are tied together, but they're not tied down. Okay, she's surrounded by swords, which is mental, overthinking things. But she could reach out, she could take that blindfold off at any time. So this is like a self-made prison at this time. She could lift the mask off. My mind went blank. She could lift the mask off. She could grab one of the swords and she could cut through the bindings on her hands anytime she wants. Sometimes we just need to look at things from a different perspective and just get out of being stuck in our head. Sometimes having one person that you can trust, that you can talk to in the situation to help, okay? And then we have the Temperance card. So the Temperance card talks about blending your emotions and your passions and your desires and everything coming together. It talks about having patience. Hi, Snow Queen. Talks about having patience, okay? Talks about healing going on, but it's coming into that balance with the emotional stuff, with the passions and desires, okay? But look, I like this one because see, there's a new day dawning here. Okay? There's a new beginning here. But see, we're still back on both sides of this. We're stuck. We're still stuck. We're still stuck. We're still in limbo. There's lots of emotional stuff going on, but there's no forward movement at all. Everything is just stuck, dealing with the fears, not seeing the beauty, not seeing the gratitude. Sometimes we just need to rephrase the thinking process. But see, there's new info. I think there's new information coming in. Okay, Page of Swords, new information, new beginnings. Could be a younger person also, but I think that this is a message card. But I think this is a, see, he's got bluebirds on this. Look at this. He's got bluebirds on this. There's two bluebirds. So there's two bluebirds of happiness. So there's going to be some information or new beginnings or of a new thought process. And I'm kind of thinking it's new goals, new beginnings in a thought process. Anything mental. It could also, swords can also represent spiritual because it's higher mind, okay? But I think that there's going to be a shift and change coming in. Maybe with some of this, you know, I had one of my nieces today, why is the universe being so hard on everybody? And I said, you know, we've got a lot of planets in retrograde. It's time to reset, rest, reset, regroup, and reevaluate everything, okay? But I do think that there's going to be some information coming in for a lot of people that's going to make a lot of sense. Does that make sense? How you doing, Snow Queen? Yes, please hit the like button because that helps get the videos out there. It's been pretty slow all summer because everybody's out doing things all weekend. You got COVID. Are you okay? Yes. Yeah, well, don't forget that little bit of residue from Mercury retrograde, hon. Don't forget that residue. You have COVID now, Snow Queen, or you had COVID? Your daughter, your sister, and I. Are you guys okay, though? I know this is why I'm on oxygen, because I had it last year. And Susie, she's back. I'm right from the UK showing up tonight. Snow Queen and Susie. Ugh. If you can get a hold of some Arsenica album in homeopathy, that might help some. Arsenica album. How you doing, Susie, after all the surgeries and stuff, hon? Drink a lot of soup, tea, and water, yeah. Yeah. You got a lot of good stuff going on now, Susie? We're all really chesty and I'm coughing and achy, managed to not get it for this long. So making a tea out of rosemary will help break up some of that phlegm in the chest. Okay. Rosemary is really good. It's an antibacterial and anti-inflammatory and antibiotic type stuff, but it breaks, it's an expectorant. It breaks up all that phlegm in the chest if you can use it. I have one gal that seems to be allergic to it, so she couldn't use it. Yeah, well, yeah, rosemary and thyme tea, yeah. Thyme is good for the stomach. The kids just started school this past week, 2 weeks after everyone else in the state, because we had. I know I was reading that, Tiffany. That's hard. That's hard. Yeah. So maybe you should try some thyme tea, Susie. That's good for digestive. I went for my upper GI test on Wednesday, and he goes, well, everything looks good except your stomach is irritated. And I said, are you kidding me? I've been telling you that for the last year. The last year, you have to see it in order to believe it. Doctors just blow my mind. Then why were you in the hospital, Susie? Ugh, mold in the schools. You just bought Time lozenges today? Cool. No, my daughter was sick with headaches last year without reason. Now we know why. Yeah. Yeah. So you may want to look into ways to detox mold out of your system, Tiffany, because that stays in your system. Okay. Now I know borax helps clear out mold when you use it for soap, and there's a homeopathic remedy called borax too that might help. 14 hours of vomiting. My God, girl. So, okay, so this is what blew me for a loop, Susie. Have they checked your thyroid? Have they checked your thyroid? Because the doctor just threw it up at me that he thinks everything that I'm going through is because of thyroid. On anti-sickness meds. Oh. Yeah. I just get tired of dealing with doctors, especially when they don't want to listen. Your thyroid is okay. Okay. Now, but have they checked you for Hashimoto's? Because sometimes Hashimoto's looks normal and it's not. Because, yeah, if he's right about the thyroid causing all this problem, it's the Crohn's or an ulcer. Yeah. Well, Jano did a reading for me last week, and it he said I'd have a surprise around health come in, and that was them saying thyroid for one thing, and that just kind of blew me away. Wow. Yet they just don't have the money to maintain the schools anymore, you know? Everything is. Can you get up there, Tink? Okay. Trying to make sure my dog doesn't fall. She's having troubles getting around now. She's getting old. Huh? If I try to help her, she's got the attitude like, no, I can still do it myself. Yeah, the lotteries, and I know here they also use the money from marijuana sales to help with the schools too. You know. Yeah. Yeah, got to clean out the air conditioning systems. Our schools here don't have air conditioning. When the heat gets too hot, they close down the schools. You know. Mm. Yes, it's legal. In fact, Colorado is the first state in the United States to legalize it. Edibles are legal. And I think they just legalized mushrooms. I'm not sure about that, but I think they're going to legalize mushrooms. Because so many people use marijuana for like your nausea, Susie, you know. Yeah, well, I live in a county, and I live in a county that's on the high plains, so you know, and there's a lot of dirt roads over here. So if it snows more than a few inches, they close down the schools. Yeah, poor baby, she's trying to get in the window. It's decriminalized there. Yeah, you know, if the federal government would legalize it, you know, how much revenue would that bring in to help bring the deficit down? Now, like Mitt Romney, one of the senators, says he's stepping down because he's like 76 years old. He says, it's time to step down. I'd be in my 80s when, you know, next term. And I think it's time to step down and let the younger generation take over. Well, these older generations are all stuck in the mentality that marijuana is a gateway drug and causes addiction, you know. But it's doing so much good for people with health problems also, you know. Yeah. Yeah, well, if they I'm curious now, are mushrooms legal in Colorado yet? People are allowed to grow and consume psilocybin and psilocybin mushrooms and their derivatives. Oh, as well as ibogaine, mescaline, and DMT for personal use. The law does not set specific quality limits. Note the law does not cover LSD, which remains fully criminalized. And it says legal mushrooms don't arrive until 2025. So let me see what that says. I'm curious now. But Colorado's gray market is already here. But I know that they're using mushrooms for some people that have depression and anxiety. Depression seems to be helping people that have, yeah, the mushrooms are helping people with depression. It goes into effect, it said July 1st. It will ban not just paid advertising, but all forms of advertisement for unlicensed guides who are offering mushrooms, among other restrictions. So apparently they won't have their licenses till 2025. So, but people can grow them. Yeah. My youngest son was trying to get me to do some mushrooms, and I said, yeah, just what I need. I've never done any kind of drugs. I smoked pot twice in my life. I never did any kind of other drugs or anything because I wanted to take care of my body, you know. It just didn't attract me at all, you know. Yeah. Okay, ladies, let's talk about some concepts here. Okay. So, question, does being alone make you lonely? You find them under the cow patties. Yeah, yeah. First question, ladies, does being alone make you lonely? Okay, just looking at something. So I used to tell my kids sometimes it's better to be alone than it is to feel alone when you're with somebody. There's nothing worse than feeling alone when you're in a relationship than feeling alone when you're by yourself. It's feeling alone when with yeah, that is so much worse. When you're in a relationship and you're feeling alone, please, that is just that's the worst thing imaginable. I went through that. I went through that. Yeah. Good. Good, good, good. Oh, that's exactly what I'm talking about, Susie. Being in a relationship with somebody and feeling alone is worse than you feeling alone when you're alone. Yep, exactly. Exactly, Tiff. Now, how many of you agree with this statement? You can't heal in the same environment that hurt you. How much truth is there in that? And I was watching something earlier. He said that where is it? I can't find it now. I thought I had written it down. Now you're lonely differently, but that lonely is but the lonely that you're feeling now, Susie, you need to make peace with yourself, you know? So that's going to bring in something else. Yeah, too many triggers, yeah. Just to bring back more healing you've already done. So when we talk about being alone, okay, and so this brings the first one, you can't being alone and can't healing in the same environment. So I was watching a talk on a Buddhist priest earlier, and he kept stressing for something new to come in, something old needs to go. How many of us are not willing to let go of the comfort? No, not the comfort, the familiarity of being in that type of situation because it's all we know. Okay. Sometimes we stay in situations because that's part of our comfort zone. It's familiar to us. Yeah. So, how many of us, I'm guilty of this big time. How many of us ignore the red flags because you want to see the good in people? So there's a so but this is one of the things I've always, you know this, Tiffany, one of the things I've always tried to stress: sit back and watch what they do. Okay? Observe what they do. Just because they act a certain way doesn't mean you have to buy into that situation. That you need to engage in it, you know, because so what ties in with that is sometimes their behavior and how they react is your answer. Actions speak louder than words. Hindsight is good too. So this is what I'm leading up to. So in how many ways are you competing with your own comfort zone? How many ways are you blocking yourself from moving out of your own comfort zone? Yeah. It's funny how this works because I made notes out of several different things and they're all coming together now. It's funny how the universe works. It says, do you like being alone? Control over your life. It says, so if you are trying to win me over, telling the other person, your presence has to feel better than my solitude. You are not competing with another person. You are competing with my comfort zones. So so how many people have you met that have been new and different? Okay. That make you uncomfortable because they are pushing what your comfort zone is, which is a familiar energy, a familiar type situation, you know? That makes sense? In how many ways are you competing with your own comfort zone? Think about that. And by overlooking people's red flags that they do because that those actions are familiar to you, we keep going through the same thing over and over again. So universe, what can I choose different? Yeah. I'm glad you came in too, Susie. So what can we do to and this is and I've kind of talked about this with relationships. You know, the thing is, when we get hurt like that, we put up walls, we put up boundaries, we put up blocks. The thing is, that then blocks you from letting go of something old for something new to come in. So we're in a vicious circle. We're stuck in that circle. Or a Mobius strip. Okay, they call it they just call it a number 8. It's an infinity symbol. but it also represents a Mobius strip was going through the same thing over and over and over again. Okay, you go through a crisis and then you go through it again and again and again, you know? So sometimes we need to drop those barriers, those walls, and trust in ourselves. You know, I'm not going to say and trust in the universe, because what happens in our life is what we create. The universe can bring us the highest and best good, but are we going to allow ourselves to have it? Are we going to allow ourselves to experience, because of those personal belief systems, those walls, that fear, that devil energy? Okay? If we do not lower our barriers, our walls, we are not going to experience anything different. When you lower those barriers, you allow a different energy to come in. So Snow Queen, try lowering your barriers and ask for the universe to help you bring in a different energy. She can always come back in and watch it, Tiffany. That's one of the reasons we record them. This is the first, we're 31 minutes in, you know. Okay. But then, too, how many times do we limit ourselves by thinking maybe the grass is greener on the other side? There may be something better here. Are you walking away from something because it's not familiar to it, because it's something different? It may be exactly what you need, but you're looking for something familiar. Okay? You're looking for something that's in your comfort zone. Okay? But also remember that you are a giver. And this is one of the things for a year now I've been stressing, who am I? What are your hopes? What are your fears? What are your desires? What are your dreams? What is your negative self-talk? Not something outside of you. Who are you? That's not always true, Tiff. It's not always true. If you walk away from something, it might be because it's not in your comfort zone. I want you to look at that. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And sometimes we need to allow ourselves to feel vulnerable in order to bring in a new energy. Sometimes we get hurt, sometimes we don't. But again, didn't I ask you to work on that, Susie? Everybody, I want you to write a list. Who am I? What are my hopes? What are my fears? What makes me happy? What makes me unhappy? You know, what is my negative self-talk? What are my dreams? Who are you? Not, and don't go to, oh, I like that I can go out and help other people. No, who are you? For example, I love the drive home. Exactly, Snow Queen. I love the drive home. It's an hour from Denver, but I get to drive through fields, green pastures, forests, and it's beautiful. To me, it's like a form of meditation. That's something that fulfills me. Okay? That is something I love. That is something that brings me peace and joy. That's a load of crap, Susie. Yes, exactly. But you ladies are all of an age now. It's time to concentrate on making yourself happy. And Snow Queen, if you're in an airplane and the oxygen masks fall down, don't they tell you to put yours on first? Because if you do not put yours on first, you could pass out before you could help somebody else. Sometimes you have to replenish yourself before you can help other people. And exactly, Tiffany, Susie, that's a load of crap. Because the first half of our life we spend trying to push away all those parts of ourselves and put ourselves into everybody else's energy, take care of everybody else, because we're taught that that's how women are supposed to fulfill themselves. We're taught that that's the role of what women should have. You know, take care of everybody else before you take care of yourself. No, who's going to take care of them if you don't take care of yourself first? Okay? Do any of you ladies want to come in and talk? Yes, we're told that we have to be careful. Why don't you ladies, okay, why don't all three of you ladies come in? Hey, Joe and Jano, come in, okay? So let me recap what we're talking about a little bit, Jano, okay? Does being alone make you feel lonely? Okay? Does being alone make you feel lonely, Jano? And all of you come in. There's only 4 of you here. Why don't you all come in? Okay, you don't have a voice. You can type in, okay? So we talked about there's nothing worse than being in a relationship and feeling alone. It's better to be alone than to be in a relationship and feel alone, okay? And we were talking about how you can't stay in the same environment if you want to heal, okay? And how many of us ignore the red flags because we only want to see the good in people? Okay. Yes, healing's best done on our own, but we also have to make an effort to change the environment also. Yes, exactly, Snow Queen, okay? So remember, sometimes their behavior and how they react is your answer. Yes. But okay, so I'm going to argue with that a little bit, Jano. Okay, it's not only our inner wounds, okay? It's our boundaries. It's our comfort zone. Come in and talk to us, Jano. Susie, come in and talk. Okay? The grass is not always greener somewhere else. The grass is greener where you water it. Okay? But see, that still comes back to our comfort zone. Okay? It comes back to our comfort zone. Sometimes we look, okay, something new, something that could possibly be absolutely wonderful for us does not feel comfortable because it's not familiar. It's not what we have established as our comfort zone. Okay? And if you're a giver, then know your own limits, because takers don't have any. Yeah, grass also doesn't grow around too many weeds. Yeah. So, and I ask him this: in how many ways are you competing with your own comfort zone? We're trying to make changes, but again, those inner wounds may not be inner wounds. It may be just programs that we have established that are familiar to us that are blocking us from moving forward. Okay. So it comes down to, do I like being alone? Do I like having control over my life? So if you are trying, okay, so if you are trying to win me over, your presence has to feel better than my solitude. Okay. You are not competing with another person. You are competing with my comfort zone. Patty, if you get a chance, hon, I think it's really important for all of you to go back and listen to the first of the what we've been talking about. I think this is really important for all of us, okay? Really important for all of us. But sometimes we do not allow good things to happen to us because it's outside our comfort zone. It's outside what we are familiar with. It's not just inner wounds. It's not just inner wounds, okay? It's those programs. It's those programs that we have established. The programs that we still have to believe. That's why one of the reasons I teach the bubble technique. But and Patty, I'm going to tell you too. Write down a list of who am I. Okay. What are my hopes? What are my dreams? What makes me feel comfortable? What am I uncomfortable with? Not something outside of you. What are you feeling? And that and moon is emotions and feelings, right? Grief is also, yeah. Well, we're always going to have grief over losing somebody, but how do you make peace with it? You know, sometimes in order to grieve somebody, we have to forgive them for leaving us, and we have to forgive ourselves for putting ourselves through that. You know?
So, Casey, on TikTok, there is a shadow book that has been floating around, and
Okay.
my friend actually picked it up and she started going through it and doing it, and she's been crying throughout the whole thing. And in it, there's a part where you write a letter to yourself, and I think that would be beneficial for everybody to do.
Yes.
I done it, and I actually cried whenever I wrote the letter to myself.
Yes. That's good. See, this is why I need you guys on here too. You guys contribute to me too. Yeah. You have guilt. So why don't you clear some of that guilt? Put it in the bubble, Susie, and then ask yourself, why do I feel guilty? Is it because you no longer are buying into this other person's programming? Is it because you feel like you're letting them down? Why do you ask yourself, why do I feel guilty? Why am I grieving? You know, sometimes we are only grieving the expectations that we have. Yes, maybe you should write a letter to your brother, write a letter to your father, and then burn them. And this is a perfect time to do that, Susie, because
Tonight's
it's a,
the new moon.
yeah, tonight's a new moon. Hi, Sissy. Okay, you and Daz need to listen to the first 40 minutes of this. Yeah, for real, our expectations are so destructive. Yeah. Why don't you come in and talk too? Mojo! But those yeah, our comfort zones, our expectations, our inner wounds, our denying what we are feeling, what we are seeing, not trusting ourselves. These are all part of things that we do to ourselves. It's not just inner work, like Jano was saying. It's the programs, the beliefs, the comfort zone,
Well,
something
yeah,
that's weird. Yeah,
it is.
yeah.
It is societal
Mm-hmm.
biases, I should say.
Mm-hmm.
Societal norms, what we're raised to believe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's part of it.
But what we were raised with also
Uh-huh.
is what's comfortable to us. Like my father was a narcissist. I married a narcissist. You know,
Yes.
so because it was familiar to me, I ignored those red flags. I went with the
Mhm.
programming and went through hell and back.
But you would have to agree that that caused a lot of wounding in you, and so therefore it's almost like you did not expect better than what you had in the past, like that
Because it was familiar.
familiar, that was
Comfort.
comfortable
Yeah,
to you, that going outside of that would have made you uncomfortable because the positive experiences was outside of your comfort zone. It was not what you're used to. Your mind was programmed to believe that was normal.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So again,
Extra green.
Yeah.
you're on. You're on, sis.
Sorry, Mom.
That's okay. So we're talking about our own comfort zones. Okay. So being alone, does being alone make you feel lonely?
Oh, I say being alone. I don't feel lonely at all. I feel freedom.
Yeah, I used to feel
Freedom.
alone a lot more, but not so much now.
Turn it
I
down.
feel a lot.
Turn it down a little bit, girl.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you're coming in real loud. But okay, so look at the relationship you're just coming out of. Were you not feeling more lonely in a relationship than you were by yourself?
No, no. I feel like, honestly, I feel like if you're with the wrong person and you're unhappy, you're wasting time. But when you like get a taste of freedom and you're finally by yourself, like you have to return to yourself. You have to love yourself. You have to heal yourself. And you have to love yourself to be so comfortable with being alone.
That's one of the things that we're talking about, okay? But
Mhm.
being in a relationship with somebody and being alone is worse than being alone and being in a relationship. And I have been telling you that for probably 23 years. Okay?
Right. If you're
Well,
feeling alone in a relationship, you're missing a key.
Yeah,
You're missing key ingredients in that relationship. That yeah.
yeah. So you can't heal in the same
But
that
yeah,
hurt.
that means you need a lot of healing within yourself too, not just your partner. It's more about you yourself than it is
Exactly.
your partner. A lot of
I
people blame the
agree.
partner, but it's you yourself. You got to heal yourself. Don't worry about the partner. Worry about yourself.
Exactly,
I
Mojo.
totally agree with that because feel like every course correction that we have is just giving us an opportunity to return to self. Because
You are,
everybody else that we love in life, like sometimes we have to get it back ourselves.
Yeah.
Sissy, are you on the phone or are you on the computer? 'Cause you're cutting.
My son, he's gonna play baseball tonight.
Awkward.
I didn't hear a word of what that was.
Yeah, the audio is really skipping all over the place.
You're skipping all over the place. If you can you get on the computer and come on? Rather than
Oh my God, I can't get on.
Yeah.
Mom, can you hear me?
yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
what I was saying was every course correction that we have and we think that is a pitfall is just an opportunity to return to ourselves. Everything that we invest in all the people that we love, we do it with our heart and soul. And sometimes we pull back and do it ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
That's and that's one of the things that we've talked about is how we are taught that we have to take care of everybody else before we take care of ourselves.
No, we need to take care of ourselves first.
Yeah.
You can't fill from an empty cup.
Yeah, that's one of the things we're talking about tonight. So it says ignoring red flags because you want to see the good in people will cost you later. Okay. So how many of us are guilty of ignoring red flags because we want to see the good in everybody?
Me.
I
Definitely
think
me.
everybody's guilty of that.
Everybody, yeah.
Because you want to, honestly, okay, I'm going to say this. Yes, don't let people run all over you, but that doesn't mean give up on people. It just means you might want to have your space from them.
Exactly. That
So
to
you
me,
can
that's
still love
I just,
somebody from afar.
yeah.
Doesn't mean you're giving up on them. It just means you can't have them in your life.
Yep. Exactly. What I do sometimes is I just step back and let them be the assholes that they are, and I don't have to engage in it. You know. So the grass isn't greener. The grass isn't greener somewhere else. The grass is greener where you water it. So if you want growth in your life, you need to focus on you.
True.
And a lot of times we look for and this again comes back to comfort zone, to what we're familiar with, what kind of programmings and blocks and inner child work that we need to do. We may pass up an awesome opportunity. Why is Justine coming back on again?
I'd just like to say something about that a lot of us are always searching for something better, looking for something better, but if you don't make the change within yourself, you're going to keep on getting the same karmic things coming back over and over and over to you again. You have to do the healing for yourself first.
Yeah, and Jano can attest that one of the things I've been preaching is know thyself, right? If you have to know yourself, because if you were a giver, you have to know your limits, because takers don't have it.
Sure. That's why I made my name. I know some people joke JS, but no, it's J no for a reason, because I used to give until I had nothing left.
Exactly.
So that's why I made my name the way it is.
I really feel like that's a worthy topic. Can you hear me? I feel like that's a worthy topic because we give and give and give with our heart and soul. And it's hard to experience another person that does that for you. And sometimes it leads to disappointment and challenges.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's just life. But when you go through these course corrections, you literally have an opportunity to return to yourself and heal yourself and love yourself. All the energy you gave another person, you could turn around instead of being depressed, and you could give it to yourself and love yourself. And love yourself anyway, because you did that for another person. That automatically makes you like amazing, beautiful, great.
But how many people are not ready to get to that point yet?
And that's why, okay, that's a good point. I love that you brought that up, because this is where you have to be really cautious. And I'm saying that because a lot of people are still sleeping and they have no concept of awareness or spirituality. They're either religious or they're not. And there's like those two scenarios, but there's this in between scenario that's happening, which are like people like us, like trying to focus on like our heart, our spirit, our soul.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yep.
It's
So-
not easy. It's not easy to self-reflect. You know what it is? It's a practice. It's a practice to self-reflect, because you will be the judge of you, and you will know if you were right or wrong based on your emotions and your feelings and like how you feel about the situation. So I'm going to just say this. I'm going to say this. Like, if you stood there and you let somebody abuse you, you go home and you think about it. Like, I should have said this. I should have did this. Like, you know what? Like, that's already like a red flag.
But how many of us ignore the red flags because we're stuck in our comfort zone? It's something that's familiar to us. See,
Because we live in the United States and comfort is our like gift.
But
Like in other countries and everything, like it's not like that.
I think the main fear is people in general. They will stay in a relationship. They will stay in a friendship because they are scared of being alone. They'd rather be in an abusive relationship or narcissistic controlling relationship than be alone, because the scare thought of being alone is scarier than that.
Yep.
And you know what? I love that you said that. I love that you said that, because those are the people that need to sit there with themselves and learn how to love themselves.
They do, yes.
And be to themselves and heal themselves. It doesn't come from a person. It doesn't come from a program. It doesn't come from anything. It literally comes from you sitting there with yourself, loving yourself, and like freaking, like being happy. Being happy. We are the ones who get to choose whether we're happy or not.
Yes, that's true.
Again, the question, in how many ways are you competing with your own comfort zone?
Oh my God, is that your topic tonight? I'm sorry. I missed the topic. That's the topic tonight. Say it again, please.
In how many ways are you competing with your own comfort zone?
This is a good one. This is a good one in every way possible.
Yeah.
What do you mean we're so wrong, Susie? Okay, talk to us, hon. Okay, so I wrote notes all week. I didn't even look at my notes before we came on. I just kind of made notes all week and didn't even look at it and had no idea what the topic it was. But when I started talking about it, is all connected. All connected. There's no such things as an accident, okay? So
what is that? Sorry.
All the notes that we're talking about tonight, okay? So this is what got me started on it. Do you like being alone? Do you like having control of your life? So if you are trying to win me over, your presence has to feel better than my solitude. You are not competing with another person. You are competing with my comfort zone. So when we are stuck in that comfort zone, how many times do we miss opportunities?
A lot. I know.
Because because it's different and familiar. The universe is trying to bring us something new, okay? And we are stuck in our comfort zone because it's unfamiliar. And Susie, I went through my dad, domestic violence, both husbands, domestic violence. No, it's about abuse. It's about your comfort zone. You were familiar with that abuse, So you
So you
can't.
stick around. You stick
Yeah, that's
around
more
with that
about
abuse.
fear, too.
Yes.
I've dealt with it a lot in my life as well, and you stick around because you are comfortable with it. You're
Oh.
used to it, quote unquote. You're used to it happening to you, so therefore you stick with it. It just happens
Okay, Susie.
until you get sick of it.
Yeah.
I grew up in a domestic violent house. I grew up as my whole childhood. My father was violent and alcoholic, abusive physically, verbally, everything. I know what that is like going up through that. And a lot of it is fear.
Yeah.
And control.
Violence, yep.
And
Control.
they come in and undermine. They come in and undermine everything that you are. You know, they undermine. They sneak in and undermine. You know, I was reading some of the most accomplished, successful CEOs in the world have ended up in relationships of domestic violence because this guy comes in, love bombs them, and then comes in and starts undermining their self-confidence. And they do it in such a way that you don't even know. People say, well, why don't you leave? Because they have gone through a whole process of programming you to undermine everything you are.
Yeah.
Very
You know?
true.
And they just don't understand, you know? Yeah. And exactly, Patty, many people don't realize they deserve better. It's a realization. No one can get that. Yep.
Once you realize and know that you deserve better, it gets a lot better. I know domestic violence is scary and it can be hard to get out of, but you can get out of it.
Yeah. They say it takes an average of 9 times before the woman starts waking up a little bit.
Yeah.
But if they start in on your kids, that's what will.
Yeah, and we were threatened, and we were all threatened to be killed, and all this, everything is a nightmare. But I know exactly what you were talking about.
It happened to me even after I left. Like, I got hit by a car, got choked out, almost got killed. Like, that was even after I left. So it could still happen even afterwards.
Yeah. Yeah. So what is freedom to you?
Peace.
The first thing about domestic violence is you can't be silent about it. You have to tell everybody about it because
please, that's one of the
protect you, but not if you stay silent.
Yeah, I'm very vocal.
How can they know? Otherwise,
yeah, I'm very vocal about it. That makes me glad
to reach out to do it, and I know there's a whole lot of fear behind it.
Yeah. So to me, freedom is the ability to make my own choices. The ability to make my own choices.
I agree with that.
Yeah, I think that's huge.
What was that again? Sorry, I missed that.
Freedom is the ability to make choices.
Yes. Well, we all have the ability to make choices, really.
But when you're in a situation where the inner child stuff, the programs, the undermining your self-esteem and everything.
I know.
You don't have that ability to freedom.
Okay.
I would
I'm going to go through a divorce, and I have been with this person for a long time, and he was sick. And I loved him with my heart and soul, and I did my best to take care of him. And he actually survived the cancer that he had, which is a blessing. It's so great. But things took a turn, and it didn't like honor myself anymore. And so I literally had to make a hard decision. Like, I love you so much. We've been through so much, but it doesn't align and it doesn't fit. And so I had to leave that. And it was really difficult. It was really hard. But I want to tell you right now,
Yep.
It was an opportunity to return to myself. And how could I ever forget that I love this beautiful Justine and I love her heart the most. And I even do gratitude every day to thank myself for being such a lovely person and having a big heart and going as far as I did with this man when he was sick and dying. Like I know that's kind of extreme and everything, but I feel like I was called to do it. Once I did it, everything was successful. Something changed. And then it was like I sacrificed so much. And then when I didn't feel honored or appreciated, I felt like I didn't regret anything that I did. I just felt like this is done. Like I was called to do something and I did it and I'm done and I'm going to move on. It's not an easy task. It's really challenging. It's really hard, but the opportunity to return to myself is a blessing. Like, how could I not love me? Like, look at everything I do for everybody.
And with me, with the first marriage, you know, I had that program that if I love him enough, that he'll change. Okay, but then when he started in on the kids, with the abuse and targeting the feelings and domestic violence and telling them they weren't normal and all kinds of stuff, I said, wait a minute, back up here. They're not doing that to my kids, you know.
Yeah, no, if they're abusive to you, they will be abusive to the kids too.
Yeah.
If they don't touch the kids, that's still abuse.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Yeah, abuse isn't always physical.
Yeah, it's mental abuse.
Mental is the worst. That's the ones that you carry for life.
Yep.
Yeah.
Emotional as well.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Mental, emotional, those are the worst abuse that you can encounter because those are the ones who condition you. I heard something the other day that kind of I heard something the other day that kind of shocked me. And I was like, and I'm not saying anybody's a narcissist, whatever, but I'm saying what the thing was saying was a narcissist will beat you up and he'll make sure after he beats you up, he's going to be the one to comfort you too. And I was like, that is a complete control of power,
Yeah.
a power over you.
They'll make you think it's your fault.
Yeah. Like you just beat me up and you broke my heart, but yeah, you're going to come over here and wipe my tears away and comfort me. Like that's really, that's emotional abuse. Like the full circle. I'm going to beat you up, but I'm going to make you feel better.
Yeah.
Yeah. So here's a little way to rewire the brain. Get up early in the morning and brush your teeth with your left hand. Do things with your left hand, okay? Then talk to yourself in the mirror. Look yourself in the mirror eye to eye and tell yourself 10 times I love you every morning, okay? And then 25 times at lunch and in the evening, breathe in exaggerated breaths. This will help reframe. This is one of the exercises that I got from
Pranayama.
Joe Dispenza.
I love that. I love that because I feel like we're so conditioned to be a contribution that we forget to love ourselves. Like we have to put everything we are for everybody in the world and do our best because that's like, I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's conditioning or whatever. But if you're experiencing another person, like they don't even align with that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
Exactly. You know, and it was hard for me because, you know, my sister was my sister was watching my kids for me. She was a licensed babysitter and she was watching some of my grandkids and stuff too. And she was abusive to the other kids that she was babysitting. And it wasn't until she was watching my younger two that my youngest son told me that she was mean to him all the time. And I remember driving down the road and thinking, oh Lord, what am I going to do? I can't afford another babysitter at this point in time. Because I was driving an hour down to take her the kids in the morning and then 20 minutes back to work because I couldn't afford a babysitter, right? But I was buying savings bonds and stuff for her for stability, right? And I heard this little voice pop in my head, and it says, well, you're going to have to find a babysitter anyway because she's going to be having some heart problems. And what it turned out, the heart problems went into kidney disease, and her kidneys failed, you know. But I was forewarned ahead of time. The universe, you know, always takes care of us. So it's like, you know, but she was my support system, but yet she was talking stuff about me behind my back all the time.
Yeah.
And I was just devastated when I found that out. You know, this was my sister, my beloved sister.
Okay, let me just speak on that real quick. My phone's about to die, so I apologize. It doesn't matter about anybody else. Like, you had to return to yourself to heal. Like, you had to love yourself and return to yourself to heal. And I know a lot of people are not going to see that through their pain and suffering. You have to have pain and suffering to experience yourself and return to yourself. And then after that, once you get yourself back, always remember and never forget, like, I came from all this hurt and pain when I didn't think I could make it, and I'm doing it. Like, you got to be thankful for every moment and every day that you made that choice to support yourself and love yourself.
But sometimes you have to go through all that pain in order to find a way to come back.
There's always
Yes, I agree. I agree completely.
as hard as it is, there's always purpose in the pain.
Mm-hmm.
I believe that with my heart and my soul.
So let me tell you about a Japanese.
We want to scream at the universe for what we've gone through. There's always a lesson in it.
Yeah, and we choose what we're going to go through.
Be sad about it, or we can learn from it. It's our choice.
Well, the thing about it is, if you just fuck, he died.
Your phone going dead or what? Watch your language.
I think so.
I can yell at her. She's my daughter. Oh, so you know, and being broken, but we're already whole and complete. These are just lessons we came in to learn, right? But I thought this was significant because there's a Japanese thing that they do. It's called kintsugi, KINTSUGI. What they do is they fix broken pottery with a gold lacquer to highlight the imperfections.
Oh, okay.
Broken objects are not something to hide, but pridefully display.
It's like a scar.
Yeah, and it's also reminding us
proudly.
The Native Americans used to weave blankets and stuff, but they would leave one imperfection in it to remind us that nothing is perfect.
Yeah.
Nothing is perfect. But
nothing. Because
And I thought was that, and like I said, I made these notes. Okay.
If we look at it in a positive way, our imperfections are our perfections. It's what makes us unique.
Yeah. Oh, Des is going to come in and talk. Ooh, this is going to be good. Oh, got it, girl. Come on in. But for some reason, like I said, I made all these notes, didn't even put them together. I was thinking this is going to be different things that we could talk about tonight. But when I'm looking at what everything is now, it's like everything that's on this page all comes together. Hey,
Mhm.
Des,
It is.
you
It
there,
is.
girl?
It's Justine on Dez's phone. That's my best friend.
Oh, she's there with you?
Dez is, yeah, we're here together. Yeah.
Okay.
Nice.
Dez is here.
Good.
Yeah.
Put your
Like we're
in
listening,
too.
like we're here physically together listening.
Okay. Well, let's hear Dez's input too.
Yeah.
Hi, guys.
Hi.
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 This is a really good topic, and I'm glad that you guys are speaking about it.
I said I just put notes down all week, and I went in and looked at it after I started, and I said, "Wow, all of this is related." He said, "Universe wanted to get this message out tonight," you know?
Right.
Yeah. So you do craft. Well, Susie's a hedge witch also. She does arts and crafts, macrame, always screw up. Yeah, there's nothing is perfect. Nothing is meant to be perfect.
It's not meant to be.
We are already whole and complete.
Perfection. What is perfection?
We are already perfect. We are just here to
Okay. So, like perfection is non-existent.
It is
You
not.
can't be perfection and live a good life.
So I said,
You
what?
have to freaking go through hell to get to it.
We're always healing.
we're back to the yin yang again.
It's your
Okay.
life.
If everything's all white, there's nothing to learn there. If everything's all black, there's nothing there to learn. You have to have those billions of shades of gray in between in order to experience things and live your life. You know?
Without darkness, you wouldn't be able to see light. There'd be no contrast.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like every crack that you have is letting the light in.
Yeah. And like the story of the guy that used to go down and get water, and he had one pot that was cracked. So as he was walking back up the hill, the water would leak out and water one side of the path. And they said, "Why don't you fix that crack?" He goes, "Because it's watering all the plants on the one side and creating beauty, you know?" And it's like, wow, you know, and we lost everybody.
That's a good point, Susie, because look at Bob Ross. He didn't have any mistakes. He made his little happy mistakes into anything.
There you go.
Yeah. I went to college and they taught me all these technical techniques, and we had to critique everybody else's work. But to me, art is in the eye of the beholder, right? You don't critique somebody else's art because it's subjective, it's personal, right?
Yeah.
And they had me critiquing all this stuff, and I wasn't comfortable with that. But I watched Bob Ross. It changed my whole life.
Mm-hmm.
He had happy accidents, and I love that about him.
Yeah. He was so awesome. He had such a good philosophy for life, you know?
Well, that's life,
Yes.
really. You take the bad experiences, and you can either make them into more negative, or you can actually turn it into light.
Well, that's what I do now. Okay, so this didn't work out. So what else is possible? What other direction can I go?
What lesson can you learn from what happened, and
yes,
how are you going to respond to it? Are you going to dwell on it, or are you going to take it and turn it into something positive?
Yeah. You know, I could let it bring me down, or I could learn from it, you know?
Yeah.
And that's what I told somebody the other day. I said, you know, instead of looking at it as something that bad that happened to you, pull up your bootstraps and say, well, I went through this. What have I learned from the situation? You know, we have to And so, in what direction can I go from here? You know, there's no, when I pull the Two of Wands card, the Two of Wands card to me is the pathways are open, but on my cards, there's deer in the background. Okay. So that's telling me that the universe is opening up the pathways, but you've got choices. You got to pick a direction to go in.
Yep.
But no matter what choice you make, it's not going to be a wrong choice because it just depends on where you're at that point in time, you know?
Mm-hmm.
It all comes together, you know?
Yeah.
Stupid.
Getting kind of off topic, I did have a premonition of something happening in October. I know I had been saying for a while that there was going to be some kind of nuclear thing going on.
Yeah.
And I got something about in October about a hospital being bombed.
Okay. Here?
I actually got either the Mayo Clinic or St. Jude's.
Interesting. Did I knock you off, Jano?
What's that?
I said, did I knock you off? I was trying to get the fly out of my keyboard.
No, I'm good.
Okay. Yeah, my flies on the wall are back. So let's all say prayers to that any nuclear disasters coming up in the next couple months, we can diffuse the situation. Maybe it'll be when
I
they,
hope so.
you know, maybe we can
You know,
see
hopefully the word gets out and that.
Yeah.
So, but that's what I got. And the funny thing is, the person I work with, they got the exact same thing at the exact same time I did. So,
Wow.
exact same. They said hospital exact same time I did.
Okay, so again,
we're getting messages.
So we're asking the universe to divert that nuclear energy into something not harmful.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's our intent.
Yeah. Of course, my desire is to have that prevented.
Yes.
I do believe it's Russia related.
Oh. Maybe.
Mm-hmm.
I hope not. You know, those hospitals at least do some good, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that was our topic for tonight. What do you guys want to talk about now? Do you want to expand on that? Do you want to bring up another topic? Did it trigger anybody with anything? Bring it up. Hi, Kelly. Kelly, I think when you make sure tonight that you go in and watch the
Hi, Kelly.
Watch the beginning. Yeah, climate change.
Climate change.
Oh, I think we all need to talk to Mother Earth.
Yeah, well,
because
something happening.
Because Mother Earth could, you know, they made fun of me. They snickered at me one time at a metaphysical thing. We were doing a prayer circle. And I said, thank you, Mother Earth, for letting us be here. And they kind of snickered. And I said, because she could shake us off anytime she wants, you know. So the Earth is a soul just like we are. It's just in a different form. So we need to pray for the healing of the Earth also. You know.
Yeah.
And it's interesting because I was talking about this. So we have black, white. The medicine wheel, the Native American medicine wheel is black, white, red, and yellow. Okay, it's those colors because hold on. Because those are the colors of the races of the world. Okay. So yellow. Okay, the red race is earth. The white race is air. Yellow race is fire. And the black race is water. Okay.
Okay.
I need to pull. Justine is supposed to come over and help me go through some of my books. She wants some of my astrology books. She's all into astrology. I told her to look at human design rather than astrology, but we'll see what happens. But I want to pull out all my books on the medicine wheel and all the information that I have. There's so much information, and make a chart of what the medicine wheel teaches us. The medicine wheel also teaches us to stay in balance. Okay, it's such a profound, simple tool, and God is simple. It's us that complicates everything, you know. So yeah, it is Native American, and it's funny because if any of you ever get the chance, there's 6 videos of Sadhguru going across the country, talking to Native American elders and look at some of the historic sites. And he was really, really intrigued by the western half of the United States. But he was picking up energy all over the place. But he said, he goes, the Native Americans are the earth. And that makes so much sense to me. So much sense. Because they are connected to the earth. They understand so many things. They understand so many concepts of how they're the original quantum physics people. Everything that they teach, the Native Americans has been teaching for centuries, you know. Got an electric car and there's nowhere to charge them. Oh my God. I know. And it's funny because California is telling people to back down on their electric use a little bit because they don't have enough electricity out there, but yet they're promoting electric cars. You know, where's the common sense here? So it's yeah. You still awake too?
All right, Casey, I think I'm gonna hop off here. I gotta get Luna in bed. She's gonna go with her dad in the morning.
Okay.
Okay.
But I hope y'all have a good night. I love y'all.
Love you too.
Good night.
All right, bye.
Bye. Good night, girl.
Night.
What I'm wondering is not so much electric cars, is when they're going to start developing more into the hydroelectric, like using hydrogen to power cars.
Please, there's not a lot of money to be made in that. You know, if they would just tap into what Tesla had, he was pulling electricity out of the air. You know.
Well, yeah, air is made of a lot of hydrogen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, you know, they're not going to do anything that doesn't make them a lot of money. What I don't understand is why the oil companies have known for like 30 years that they're on the end of, you know, they're starting to run out of oil around the world.
Yeah, you can't. rely on oil forever. It's
Yeah, and why have they not
good for
invested?
the planet and the limited resource.
Yeah, why have they not invested in other ways of bringing in energy? You know.
Because you got certain people controlling the
Mhm.
oil industry, and they're the ones they make the money off of it, so they're gonna milk that as long as they can,
Yeah,
and that's what it comes down to, really.
yeah. You can't add emojis now. I just got an iPhone. Yeah. So it's kind of funny because last Friday night we were talking about my swan. So Sunday night, Des and Justine were doing readings for each other,
Mm-hmm.
and they laid out Justine's cards.
Mm-hmm.
Cards back in and shuffled and shuffled and shuffled and shuffled, and laid them out again. And the cards, most of the cards came out again, but in a reversed order.
Oh, okay.
And they were freaked out. And I said, "You guys are like joined at the hip.
It's gonna come out that way.
Yeah, you guys are joined at the hip. You think that you're not going to have some common things come up?"
Yeah.
And I told them the story about the swan. You know, I said and Justine was probably maybe about 10 when that happened. She doesn't remember it. I asked her if she remembered it. But for those that weren't here last week, I was driving west on Colfax in Lakewood, okay, early in the morning, and I look up in the sky. There's one cloud, and it's a swan. I said, "Wow, look at that!" And of course, the two kids are in the background, and they jump up and they go, "What? What? What?" They go, "Oh, a swan. That's cool." They lay down and went back to sleep. She don't remember it. So later that afternoon, probably 6 hours later, I'm with my metaphysical friend down there on Colfax again. This is where the original Walmart was. This is way back when we first got Walmart here. So we're pulling out. We're going west on Colfax again. This is hours later. Look up in the sky and there's one swan. And I had told her about the swan earlier in the morning. She starts laughing and she goes, "Yep, sure is another swan." So we went to a metaphysical store and I opened up a newspaper and there was a swan. So I had 3 swans. Swans are transformation and change. Swans are surrendering into the energy and going through the changes, going through the flow. I was going through a divorce at the time, okay? This was probably between 88 and 89 somewhere, okay? And it made so much sense. And it's funny because I just found the little swan that I was talking about. So I told Justine about that and she goes, "Wow, I don't remember that." I said, "But yeah," I said, "I have been getting messages from the universe for a long time." And I told them, the more you acknowledge all those synchronicities, all those messages, the more you're going to get.
The more you'll get because you're recognized.
Mm-hmm.
Those are trying.
Mm-hmm. Say, "Oh, you're paying attention now."
Yeah, so they're gonna send you more because
Yep.
you're opening your chakras. You're opening yourself to that.
So talking about chakras, I've been watching these Korean dramas. We talked about that a little bit last week. And honest to God, I think these Korean dramas are heart chakra openers. Honest to God, because they're an honest to God, everything falls together, everything fits together, everything flows together type heartfelt dramas.
Yeah.
And I am feeling things that I have not felt in forever. It's like it's just picking up this heart chakra stuff. And I said, I swear to God, these are heart chakra openers. It's funny. So Des had my daughter watch one show, and then I had her watch Love Between the Fairy and the Devil. If you guys get a chance to watch that, that is really cute. This devil gets accidentally connected to this innocent little fairy that turns out to be a hidden goddess. Okay, but he's connected in a connection that if she dies, he dies. So when she starts feeling bad or she feels anything, he's feeling it. So she's feeling bad and she's kind of sick. So they looked up ways for him to nurture her as a flower because she was a flower fairy. And so he did things to nurture her and her feelings. And he had gone through a procedure when he was a child in order for him to be powerful and everything. He went through something that took away all of his emotions. What happened was she was bringing back all his emotions. Okay.
Yeah.
And he's feeling all these things and he's doing little things in the background to make her happy. Well, something happens, and later on, all those things that he learned to nurture and take care of her, he had to bring it all together and do it in order to bring her back. And it all just comes back together and everything. And my daughter, she was crying, "Oh my God, that's so wonderful!" I said, "Yeah, that was a good show. That was a good show." But it's a good tug on your heart, Chuck. But it's so cute. It's so well made.
Dragonfly kind of makes sense, Susie.
Strange. 20 years ago, my breakup from my kid's father went for a tattoo. I had a dragonfly.
Oh yeah, dragonflies are the most adaptable.
Yeah.
They can change flight in any direction, so he's kind of like escaping from what happened, gaining your freedom.
If you take a picture of the light on the opposite side of the dragonfly, and you just see the dark part toward you, it looks like a fairy. They look like fairies. There's also a Native American legend about the dragonfly. The dragonfly used to be the dragon, but the dragon was tricked by one of the animals into transforming himself into a dragonfly. So it kind of talks about transformation at the same time, hon. It's just yeah. He was just tricked into transforming.
Yeah, exactly.
And Susie, how many? Yeah. Girl, why are you still talking to that ex?
Yeah.
It means transformation, transmutation. Yeah. So give me 3 reasons why you're still talking to the ex, Susie. I'm curious. Is that not falling back into your comfort zone?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
3 reasons, girl. 3 reasons. Snow Queen's in England, Jano, and Susie is in Wales.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Ha ha, she says. Honestly, yes. 3 reasons, girl. 3 honest reasons. Why are you still talking to the ex? An addiction, yeah, that could be another means for your comfort zone. You're hanging on to something that's familiar.
It's almost like you're preventing yourself from going forward.
Yeah, in order to
Sabotaging your own self by holding on to that past.
for something new to come in, something old needs to go.
That fall away. The X has to fall away for the new.
You can't come up with 3 reasons why he's in your life? then why is he in your life? Seriously, girl. I quit talking to my twin flame because there was just no effort. And I said, I deserve better. I deserve better. I don't need to sit around and put up with somebody else doing the same thing to me again. It ain't happening.
Well, you have to let your twin flame go.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then I received a Vedic thing. It says that within the next 365 days, there will probably be a surprise marriage or someone that I already know moving forward into a deeper relationship. And I said, what? It's only when you're drunk. Oh my God, girl. But is that a good reason? Seriously.
Yeah, but the thing is, when you're drunk is when you're most,
Vulnerable.
I should say, authentic.
Yeah.
It's the feelings you've been suppressing when you're sober comes out when you're drunk. So if you're contacting when you're drunk, you're not over them. You got to be honest with yourself. Or even if you're over him, you're not over
It's
that
still something that's familiar.
that trauma inside yourself. You're not over that. You haven't healed from that.
But is he verbally abusive to you over the phone?
So there's some kind of trauma still within you from that you can't let go of.
Oh, yes. We all love you. We all love you, Star.
Hey, Star.
If you get a chance, hon, watch the first of this video because we had a really super good topic tonight. Okay, hon? And keep in touch. He's nice and then he ghosts you. So why do you put yourself through that? Why do you put yourself through that?
That's a karmic pattern.
Yep. Why do you do that? Again, okay, how many ways are you competing with your own comfort zone? Yes, he's a narcissist. Honestly, have no clue. Maybe you need to start asking yourself some questions. But again, Susie, I encouraged you before to do the who am I thing. I don't care if he's in Aries.
When we hold on to those negative people around us, it tells us that we're not fully loving ourselves yet.
Who am I, Susie? Sit down and explore that. Who am I? You know? And message me. Yeah, does he live far from you, Susie?
And that's okay. We all need healing.
Yeah, being ghosted's not fun.
Yeah.
But then yeah. He lives about 40 miles away. So write a letter to him too. Did you write a letter to your brother already? You said you were writing a letter earlier. Who did you start with? Your brother? Write one to your dad? Write one to your mom? Write one to your daughter? Write one to him? Write one to your ex? Write a letter to yourself, forgiving yourself.
Yeah.
Write a letter to yourself, asking yourself some questions. Why do I do this? Why do I allow this to happen in my life?
I've had to let go of quite a few people.
You did your brother already tonight? Good. Well, make a list of everybody you need to give it to. Yeah. That's a start. So it's not a time zones issue, and that's not that far. Very sad, yeah. So that's about an hour away from you. So how much are you giving away your free will choice to this man and to your daughter? So ask yourself that. But I would start on the who am I, hun? Okay.
Yep.
And I should probably invest in that shadow work book, and then we could all work together on that on here. Well, I'll cry together.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely shadow work, and then as corny as it sounds, and some people may not agree with it, but I doing affirmations every single day. There's a lot of videos on YouTube that you can just listen to and repeat it, and
Yeah.
you think it's bogus, but it actually does work.
Yeah.
It's help.
I know your daughter's complicated, hun. That doesn't mean you can't write a letter to her.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think and I always recommend to you guys to get that book, The Dark Side of the Light Chasers. My granddaughter, I asked her the other day, did you ever finish that book? And she goes, that's really a good book, Grandma. And she's what, 20, 21 now? If I can get those girls started on that work now and not push away all those parts of themselves now, then I think I'm doing good. I'm trying to get all you guys to do your work. But we need to work with it rather than rejecting it. And that's one of the things I stress is anything that makes you uncomfortable, anything that you think is evil, investigate it. Take the stigma out of it.
Yeah.
So write a letter to your daughter about how you're feeling and burn it. This is the perfect time, honey. It's new moon. Okay? So let's talk about frequency.
And just remember, we can't change other people. We can only change ourselves.
That's right.
We can only change ourselves. It's the Michael Jackson "Man in the Mirror" song.
Yep. Let me find this one. Where's my Facebook? Okay. Okay. So it was kind of funny. A couple Mormon people, when I posted this on my Facebook, commented on this. Okay. So this is like a spiral, right? Let me see if I could put up the. Hold on. Present. Will it only let me put up one at a time? Maybe. Ah, Hawkins scale of consciousness. So they were. Oh, of course, you're going to give me a bad. I thought I had it pulled up earlier.
Mm-hmm.
Is it this one? Nope. Not gonna let me pull it up. Images. Okay, well, we're gonna have to go with this one, I guess. So, with the Hawkins scale of consciousness, so things don't start turning positive till over 200. Okay. So shame is 20, a vibration of 20, guilt is 30, apathy is 50, grief is 75, fear is 100, desire is 125, anger is 150, pride is 175, courage is 200, neutrality is 250, willingness is 310, acceptance is 350, reason is 400, love is 500. Christy, what's her name? Christy something. She has a program called 500, Love and Above. Okay. Joy is 540, peace is 600, and he considers enlightenment 700 to 1,000. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But we have found that, hi, Midnight. We have found that for us, the scale is off. I was telling one of the Mormon gals tonight, when we first started learning about the Hawkins scale of consciousness, my Mormon friend had somebody test for everybody to see what level they were at. She says, your kids have a higher level of consciousness than our bishops in the church do. And I just had to laugh. But let me take that off.
Speaking of tests, I remember you guys doing one test one time where you're trying to
That's it.
testing people's level of, I don't know.
Of energy, yeah. So one of the things that I was watching today was I've always believed that the 144,000 in the Bible is not the amount of people. It's a consciousness level.
Oh.
Okay. Now, according to Hawkins, people during each lifetime only maybe jump 20 points or something. But just me alone, God.
I don't agree.
Yeah, I don't either. I haven't tested lately, but I think the last time Star and I had tested, I had jumped over 15,000 in the last couple of years. Okay. So we could talk about people's energies. Well, you can have somebody else. Okay. You can. You know how to muscle test, Midnight? Or do you know somebody that can muscle test for you?
What do you mean by muscle test?
Or use a pendulum. It's all form of dowsing. Do you know how to muscle test, Jano?
I'm not sure what you mean by muscle test.
Hold on, let me get rid of this. Okay.
What that is?
You can test energy. You can ask questions. You by muscle testing. So I put my hands like this. Okay, what's a yes? That's a yes for me. What's a no? That's a no. Some people can do what's a yes, what's a no. Okay.
Oh,
That's the first time that's ever worked for me. Interesting. What's a yes? What's a no? That's interesting. So there's ways to muscle test, or you can use a pendulum.
so like involuntary muscle movements.
Yes, yes. Or the arm movement. Okay. Uh, if the arm stays strong, that's yes. If it goes down, that means no. Okay.
Oh, okay.
So you can ask about different levels and see where you're at. You can assess where you're at. Do you want to come on for a minute? Definitely have a. You want to come on just for a few minutes, Jared? We could muscle test everybody.
There you go.
Just you don't have to stay on long, hun. I know you're tired. I try to go into your videos in the morning sometimes, and I can't get in there because it's members only. So, Jano, do you want to test?
Sure.
Okay. Permission to test the energy levels. Okay, let me explain a little bit. Okay, this is your overall energy. There might be, you're outside cooking currently. Okay, on one level, you may be, let's pick a level. Okay, somebody asked me about grief earlier. That's a level of 75. That's regret, tragedy, disdainful, despondency. You may be 75 on that, and another level you may be 10,000. So this is your average level of everything. Okay.
Yeah.
So we are going to ask permission.
These went up quite a bit.
Permission to test the overall level of energy on the Hawkins scale of consciousness for Jano. Yes. Okay. So is Jano's energy level over 500? Yes. Is it over 1,000? Yes. Is it over 2,000? Yes. Is it over 3,000? Yes. Is it over 4,000? Is it over 5,000? No. Is it over 4,500? Yes. Is it over 4,600? No. $4,550? Yes. 4,560? No. 4,551? No. So it's 4,550. So 4,550 at this point, okay?
Yeah.
So
I'm about 1,700.
yeah. Jano. 50, what did I say, 55? Wow. Anybody else want to muscle test their level of consciousness? But according to Hawkins scale of conscious, 700 to 1,000 is the Christ consciousness. That's your blood sugar after eating cheesecake. That's funny.
Nice.
Yeah.
I love cheesecake.
I have a good cheesecake recipe.
Addiction is cheesecake.
Yeah.
That's my bad addiction because I'll eat the whole cheesecake.
Okay, I got mine. I don't know why mine's so high. Just gained another 5,000 points, buddy. I have a good cheesecake recipe. It's got a walnut crust. If anybody wants it, try it.
Walnut crust, huh?
Yeah. Cool points, that is.
Nice.
Oh, did everybody got tired and dropped off?
I guess so. It's so quiet now. Where'd everybody go?
I know. It got real quiet last week too. I only stayed on 3 hours, and then Justine and Des came back on. They said, "Where were you?" I said, "Well, I was on for 3 hours by myself."
Yep.
Yeah. Snow Queen's still here? Yeah. Did you want to test your level of consciousness, hon? Anybody, just let me know. You don't have to do it. Midnight, what happened to you selling your sourdough bread? He makes some awesome sourdough bread. You're about a 5 most days. Wow, got awful quiet.
Yeah, I know.
I don't know if I'm healed enough to see how conscious I am.
Well, nobody's ever truly healed enough, but
Yeah, and like I said, this is the overall energy, because you know, in one aspect you might be low, and another one you may be super high. You know, because on the scale, you know, there's everything from enlightenment to shame, you know. You may have grief and guilt, like Susie was talking about earlier. That's 75 for grief and 30 for guilt. If you're hanging on to those, that part is going to keep you down. But other levels of the consciousness can be 5,000, you know. So it's just where you've healed and where you haven't healed, you know.
so am I, Snow Queen.
Yeah, me too.
Very empathic.
Yeah.
But you gotta learn how to kind of not let it affect you too much.
I suggest that all of you learn how to muscle test. You know, try it, Jano.
Mm-hmm.
Try it now and see if you can get it to work. There's different ways to muscle test. Kinesiology. It's just another form of dowsing. So when I went to the hospital on Wednesday, it was 47 degrees when we left at 9 in the morning. 47 degrees. Now, they were saying on the internet that the first snow in the States was on Loveland Pass in the last couple of days. But I remember them saying about 2 weeks ago that there was snow falling in parts of Utah. So Utah had snow before we did. But okay, so this is why I taught you the light heavy Snow, do you not use the light heavy? When you meet them, do they feel light or do they feel heavy? Play with that because you need to be able to tell the difference. Who needs a 9-volt battery? Me? I've been up and down with health, Jared. So the doctors piss me off. Oh my God. He asked me, well, what's going on? And I told him, he goes, well, it can be this, that, and that. And I said, no, you're not listening. Whoever's beeping. Oh, yeah. What happens is, okay, I have the windows open upstairs and it's cold. Okay, Alexa, what's the temperature now?
Right now, it's 49 degrees Fahrenheit. Would you
It's
also like to
49
know
degrees
whether-
right now.
Wow.
Because it's cold upstairs, my smoke detectors go down because the cold air makes the charge on the batteries go down.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
Got
So when it gets cold, my smoke detectors beep.
Uh-huh.
Oh, even if I change the batteries, they beep.
I know for a fact when I was marathon training, a lot of times I'd run in the middle of winter when it's negative degrees, and my phone battery would die about 3 times faster. While
Mhm.
it would literally go from 100% to 0 in a matter of an hour. Being
Yeah.
outside in that.
Yeah. So yeah. So the doctor told me, well, everything looks good, but your stomach is super irritated. Okay. I've been telling doctors that for over a year now, and they have to do a test to believe me? Please.
Oh, by the way, Casey, I was going to ask, how did that doctor's appointment go anyways?
That's what I was saying. The colonoscopy, no polyps. They don't see anything wrong. He did some scraping and stuff because he's looking at seeing how I'm doing with the celiac disease.
Yeah.
The upper respiratory, it said they saw a small hiatal hernia. They saw a couple polyps, and that's what he said. Oh, your stomach is super irritated.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? No, please. I keep telling you guys that. You don't listen to me.
That's why I think you should have a second opinion.
Yeah. So it's like, but
Away from that, wherever you're going to, clinic you're going to.
but I think that he's one of the other doctor. I think is on Spidon, maybe with the thyroid, because I'm using some stuff called. Steve told me this. My oldest. He says try some J. Crow's Lugol solution, potassium iodide. He goes, if you take it 3 drops 3 times a day, it kills candida. So I'll go for that. It's what it does is it protects the thyroid from radiation. And I said, interesting, because when I take it, it stops my stomach ache. I can't eat any kind of chili anymore midnight. If I go a couple months and heal a little bit, I might eat a little bit of tiny bit of red chili or some mild green chili. But if I eat it more than once, I'm hurting big time. I can't eat potatoes. I can't eat tomatoes. I can't eat chilies, peppers. Yeah, I can't. In fact, every time I try to eat meat now, it just makes me sick. I can't even eat meat anymore. It's crazy. I keep limiting more and more and more of what I can eat. But I'm just, and like I was telling my daughter, I said, Jano said there was something sudden, something shocking that was going to come up, but he didn't think it was bad. It was just something unexpected. I said, yeah, I never expected for him to tell me that thyroid could be causing a lot of this stuff.
Yeah.
The liver issues have popped up only in the last 2 months, Snow Queen. And he says that's because of thyroid. And that's the only reason, because I got in sooner. I called him and said, look, I'm having a lot of issues with liver now. And then they called me. They didn't give me any kind of diagnosis. And they called and said, well, blood tests are where they're expected to be. We'll do another ultrasound in 6 months. I said, they didn't even do an ultrasound already. What the hell are you talking about? So I called him back and I said, yeah, thyroid affects everything. But I called back and I said, per what diagnosis? Per what diagnosis are my blood tests where they're expected to be? And she goes, oh, they're saying you have fatty liver. Okay, I did not have that 2 months ago. It's something that just popped up in the last couple months. I said, okay. She goes, but he thinks it's thyroid that's causing it.
Mm-hmm.
I said, would the thyroid cause you to have stomach pain so bad you can't even sit up? He goes, oh, yeah. That was sudden, shocking, and unexpected. But my thyroid, I don't eat fructose. I eat mostly vegetables, very little fruit. Okay, I don't eat meat anymore. I use quinoa. But he's saying the thyroid will cause fatty liver. So I would look into, if you have fatty liver, I would look into your thyroid. He can check your thyroid. Plus so I always ask the universe questions, right? So the anesthesiologist was asking me what kind of breathing problems, why I was on oxygen and stuff. I keep telling them, if my stomach goes crazy, then my breathing goes wacky. He says it's not possible. They're not connected.
Have you had any heart issues?
I have I have AFib for one thing. I have hypertrophic cardiology thing that could caused by either hereditary or could have been caused by COVID.
Okay.
But the
oxygen problem with the heart.
Yeah. The anesthesiologist said the blood thinner I am on can cause pulmonary hypertension.
Yep.
I said,
lung and heart issue.
Yep. So I just asked my cardiologist about that.
That's just what I got.
She says, if nothing else, we will go for compounded medicines.
Yep.
I'm in AFib all the time, Midnight, Jared. I'm in AFib all the time.
The lack of proper oxygen getting to the heart from the lungs.
But see, remember back in November, I got off for about a month. I got off the oxygen. And it wasn't until I stopped, because my daughter wasn't home, I stopped and got what I thought was halfway healthy sandwich at Carl Jr.'s. I got a grilled chicken burger,
But that's the message I got.
Yeah, it makes sense. It makes sense.
From the lungs to the heart.
but it's
Out of your issues.
but the I'm telling you, the digestive affects it more than anything.
Mm-hmm.
As soon as and I told him, I said, if I feel like I have to go to the bathroom,
Mm-hmm.
then I will black out.
Yeah.
I will faint. And he goes, well, yeah, if you're straining to go. And I said, no, I'm not straining to go. And they keep telling me that's not possible, but it's been happening since I was 12 years old. Only it's getting worse now.
How's your blood oxygen levels?
With the digestive stuff is, yeah, well, they're all interconnected anyway.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, COVID is, yeah, because I had COVID last January and last July, you know, and I got off oxygen for a month in December and then ended up back on it again and haven't been off of it since. But Jano last week did a reading and the sudden shocking things for the better, I think, is the thyroid stuff. And he says he saw things being resolved. He didn't know about my appointment on Wednesday.
Mm-hmm.
So they won't have the results of all the biopsies and everything until November. But still, he gave me some pills to help with the stomach pain. But I was reading, I don't know, I don't think it's an antacid. I've been taking turmeric. Turmeric works better than an antacid does, according to some studies. And I've been taking turmeric. Yeah, if your stomach's bad, you create more mucus in your airways, affecting your lungs. Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
Yeah, you have some long-term COVID.
Yeah.
You have some damage from it.
Yep. So, but it's, yeah. I'm just, I know I keep seeing myself off of oxygen by the end of the year.
Yes, I do see it getting better. I actually drew a couple cards for you. I got Knight of Swords and Six of Swords. Six of Swords is about going more peaceful,
Yeah. Calmer waters, better things.
followed by the Hierophant. So that's just confirming that this is right.
Yeah, that's what you were saying last week too. Thank you for pulling cards again.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then Swords actually has a red cape in this one, and that to me represents the heart. And
Yeah. But I keep telling the universe, thank you, universe, for me learning about new things. But please, can I not experience going through it in order to learn about it? You know? So it's, yeah. I'm not on pain meds. If I have to have anything for pain, I use homeopathy. In fact, when they did my knee replacement surgery, I freaked the hell out of the nurses at the hospital because I refused the pain pills and used Leadum, a 10 m Leadum. Yeah.
I actually drew some oracle cards as well, and that just kind of confirmed it as well, because the one of them is an important phase or cycle in your life is coming to an end, followed by new beginnings are here. So that's just confirming this is going to kind of resolve itself.
Yes, 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 yes. I am so ready.
And then your connection to angelic realm is very strong right now. So whatever you're getting about this is correct.
Yeah. Thank you, Jano. I
Mhm.
appreciate you so much. Yeah, it's just, I had to go through this for some reason, you know.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, so if you can get some Arsenica album for the COVID Snow Queen, it's homeopathy. Let me see. What does she need?
I do, on another note, I do see them coming up with more medical solutions to the long-term COVID lung damage in the future here.
Yeah,
That will be high benefit to you.
good. I think you need a 200C in homeopathy if you're going to use the Arsenica album. Now they had a lot of success with that with early COVID. They were using it in India and having a lot of success with it with COVID.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's not just going to be for COVID, it's for long-term lung damage in general. It's going to.
Yeah.
But they are working on that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that mess too. So.
What? What is going on? You can't get in the window or what? She's struggling with this cold weather. She's her pugs have problems with their hips going bad and stuff, and
yeah,
she's
pugs
15.
have really hard times breathing because of the facial structure.
It's not her breathing, it's her hips.
Oh, the hips. Okay.
And she still, I invite her over to pick her up, and she looks at me like, she walks back, gets a little momentum, and walks up them stairs. It's like, I can still do this. I can still do this.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh, she's so independent. Yes, I know. But she got a scratch over her eye. Now, it's been months. Okay, it turns into like this great big huge scab. I took her to the vet and they said she's got a gland in her eyelid that is clogged, so it keeps scabbing up and making a scab like this, and she keeps rubbing it off. I have tried homeopathy. We tried antibiotics. The vet says I can't put her under because she may not survive the anesthesia, So I'm trying some arnica gel on it right now to see, because I remember I had a boil one time and my sister-in-law gave me some from Mexico. It was Vaseline and it had arnica and belladonna mixed in it. And that boil was gone in 3 days. And it was, that was like a miracle. That was like a miracle. So I thought I'd try the arnica, and I think it's gone down a little bit. So I'm going to keep it up for a few more days and see. But she gets real irritated. I couldn't figure out why she was licking everything and licking everything and licking everything, and she was licking everything, and then she was rubbing her face on it in order to rub that scab off. She's like, I'm putting up with this. But the vet checked and it's not scratching her eyeball or anything, but she's just stubborn and hard-headed enough. She's actually like my youngest daughter. She was originally my youngest daughter's dog. Just as stubborn and hard-headed as her. Hi, baby. Yes, sir. If she's out of water in the middle of the night, she will come over and tap dance on me until I get up and get her some water. She's so funny.
I find nowadays I don't need tarot cards to really read. They just confirm them for me with the messages I get.
That's good though, because my first teacher always said, don't get reliant on tools.
No.
Because if they come in and take your tools or your books away from you, you're going to think you can't do it.
Exactly.
And now I know I can do mediumship. I'm trusting more rather than pulling the cards. I'm trusting more with what I'm feeling when I ask than I am with pulling the cards, so
Yeah.
yeah, things are shifting. Now, the Vedic stuff that came in earlier said that business stuff would increase from November on. And it said within the next year, I would have an unexpected marriage or from a deepening of a relationship from somebody that's around. He said, I have no men in my life. So it'll be interesting to see. That's funny. I'm not having dreams about the twin flame. I feel like he's on the edge, watching, but he's not popping into the dreams as much. I think he knows that I was aware of him now. But I think that he's still out there on the edge.
I've had a few dreams about my person lately, so it was actually a very positive dream.
So
It's
yeah,
changing.
I did put a book on astral plane and to see if there's some way. I did ask. That's part of the reason why I asked to close off that level in the astral plane that he is coming in on. And I think that's helped a lot. I think that he can still watch, but I think that he cannot connect to me in my dreams now. And I think it's irritating the heck out of him. Oh, well, you didn't want to make the effort. I deserve better. So, yeah. So what have you been up to? Did you decide to go to Texas or not?
Oh no, I'm not gonna go to Texas right now. Yeah, well, I got my kids here, so that was the limiting factor. Like,
Oh, yeah.
so in time, yes, I'll make a move. I would think within the next couple years, I will.
One of the gals that comes in periodically says that her husband is looking at a job in Denver. I said, that would be cool. She'd be an hour away. I would absolutely love that.
Nice.
And then Crazy Crystal says her friend wants her to move out here to Colorado with her. So,
Nice.
yeah, we'll see.
So you're in Colorado?
Yep.
Okay.
Straight down from you.
Yeah, I'm over in Minnesota.
Yeah, I know where you're at. Yeah. I had at one time looked at years and years ago, they were given like 40 acres away to people that would build a house up there.
Oh, yeah?
That was probably about 25 years ago.
Oh,
Because they wanted to build up the areas,
that would be awesome. No Queen.
Well, so if you... I have been on all the Western states. I want to... See, that's what I wanted to start doing. I was planning on doing that before I got COVID, before COVID showed up. I wanted to drive up to... I've been to South Dakota. I've never been to North Dakota. I've never been to Minnesota. So I wanted to drive up to Minnesota, drive along the border over to Maine, come down the East Coast, and then work my way back.
You mean the border of Canada?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And then come back I've been to Florida. I've been to Georgia.
Yeah.
But I wanted to start working through the eastern states because I want to get to all 50 states. You know?
I went to the Renaissance Festival, and just out of curiosity, they have like the tarot card readers and the palm readers there. I said,
Yeah.
okay, I'm gonna do it. And first thing she said is that I can tell you're very, very intuitive, and that you've already saved people's lives. And what else did she say? That's a lot of people are gonna disagree with you, what you say, which is true. Because I know I'm going to say a lot of things that's going to trigger people.
Yes, I'm sure I do too.
Yeah, that's okay, because when you trigger people, that's just revealing a truth within themselves.
So Tiffany keeps inviting me to all these spiritual groups, and then she tags me because she wants me to put some comments on there. And it's like,
Yeah, it's funny that they brought up saving people's lives, because I was just told that I had saved somebody in particular's life recently. So
that's awesome. Anything we can do
preventing
to
them
make
from hurting, killing themselves.
yeah.
So
If we can
yeah,
save one person at a time, then we are doing our job.
Yeah.
That is so awesome. And like I said, you guys are my heroes because you guys use the tools that I teach. You guys come in here and express who you are and contribute to our channel.
hmm
How are we going to help change the world if we can't get out there and express who we are and help other people on their spiritual path? Not everybody's got a lot of money or time to go out and take classes.
Sure.
If we can simplify things and help, it doesn't all need to come down about money.
Well, I've been working with a certain person for about last year and a half now, and it's been really awesome. She's great.
That's awesome. So proud of you.
Thank you.
Yes, I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it when we can, and it's funny because on Facebook, somebody said, I would love it if we just get a group together where we can sit and talk metaphysical stuff for 6 hours. I said, we do that every Friday night.
It's funny you mentioned Florida, Snow Queen, because the reader actually told me I'd be moving into Florida in 2 to 3 years, specifically Florida.
Ooh.
And that's where the person I work with lives. They didn't know that. Like,
No.
Southern Florida.
So that would be hard with the kids, though. How old are the kids now?
My kids are 8 and 12.
Yeah, that's a hard age for dad to move away.
Yeah, I mean, I'd work it out to where, split time between us. They stay with me certain months and with the mom certain months.
Yeah.
I wouldn't just up and leave their lives. No, I wouldn't do that.
No, I know you wouldn't do that. No.
But you got to do what you got to do for yourself, and it's hard with kids. But sometimes you just got to do that, especially when you need a new life. You need that new energy to separate yourself from the past.
Yeah.
Sometimes you need a new start, a whole new reboot in life.
Yes.
And I've had basically a huge reboot in my life. Huge.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm just kind of just sitting here going through all these experiences, But I just feel like this too shall pass,
Yep. Well, challenges will never pass. It's how we deal with them when they come.
Exactly. The only thing we have control in our lives is how we react to situations.
It's funny. People don't really think of Rocky being spiritual, but a lot of what he says in the movies really is.
Yeah.
Like, you know that line where he says, "It's life is not about how hard you hit; it's about how hard you can get hit and still keep on moving forward."
Exactly.
You don't-
Exactly.
Life, no matter how hard it hits you, don't let it get you down.
Oh yeah, and he wrote that movie too, Sylvester Stallone.
Yeah,
So
he has
yeah.
lines in there. You don't realize it. You don't think of Rocky being a spiritual advisor, but he has a lot of
Insights. Yeah.
you think.
Yeah. And what movie was it? I was watching the other day that I don't remember. It's been a while. I've been watching Korean and Chinese dramas.
Whole Rocky movie is about never giving up.
I know. I
Matter-
know. You never did. Yeah.
No matter
I-
what the world thinks of you, you never give up on yourself.
Exactly.
Never give up on your dreams. No matter how much the world beats you down.
Have you seen the new one?
What's that?
Have you seen the new one?
What, Creed 3?
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw it.
I haven't seen any of the Creed ones.
Yeah. It's a good movie.
I'm just sitting here watching Korean drama.
Different though, because that was the only one that Sylvester Stallone was not in.
Wow.
Apparently he had altercation with the producer. I guess they don't get along. So he refused to appear in that one.
Yeah. Yeah. Somebody asked for some metaphysical movies to watch. I said, a lot of you guys are younger, and I recommend What the Bleep Do You Know? That was the first metaphysical documentary out there that just they thought, oh, this is just going to we're going to run it for 6 weeks, right? It ran for almost a year.
No.
Because it just took the whole country by storm,
Yep.
just like the Celestine Prophecy when that came out. That little, everywhere you went, all over the world, people were reading that book.
Yeah.
Simple little things, and I found some paperwork that from back in '88 when I went through the harmonic convergence.
Mm-hmm.
Things that I did back then. It was interesting because they had 7 speakers, and it's funny because they all wore colors of the chakras, and it wasn't coordinated. And one of the teachers there said, "You guys are wearing the colors of the chakras that you came in on."
Yeah.
And they just blew their minds. They weren't, even aware that they had done that. But they had a lot of stuff going on then and stuff, a lot of speakers. And I met a lot of interesting people back then. And that was like
ASL.
ASL. Hey, Aisel, how you doing, hon? If you get a chance, go back and watch the first hour and a half of the video. Very good stuff tonight. Yeah. So how are you tonight, Aisel? Anybody doing anything special this weekend?
I don't know yet. Guess we'll find out. Well, I went to Renaissance Festival last week, and that was fun.
So through July and August, they have a big Renaissance festival here.
Nice. Yeah.
You should
I
come.
think
and
ours is one of the biggest in the country.
Yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
And it's always fun. All the grandkids had a ball and got all done up, and
Oh yeah. It's a whole experience.
it is. You
Yeah.
know, the fortune tellers and the whole bit. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yes. That's cool. Anybody else have any subjects they want to talk about tonight? Everybody disappeared.
Yeah. They did this here tonight.
Yep. They kind of did that last week too. I was only on 3 hours last week, so yeah.
No, it's okay.
That's okay. At least, and like I said, I didn't intentionally pick a subject tonight. I just made notes of some things that caught my interest all week, and they all come together.
Sure.
I love when that happens. I love it. Yeah. Who's that? Oh. Yeah. Well, maybe we'll go ahead and close it up for tonight.
Okay.
Get an early night in tonight. Instead of being on for 6 hours like we've been doing.
6 hours, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm used to 6 hours.
I know. I remember I was on for 8 hours one night, and I had people that were, oh gosh, I had people from Kenya and South Africa and more people from England and Australia and stuff came in.
Yeah.
That was an interesting night. And there was a gal from Greece. She was just agitating everybody and everything, and they all kind of shut her down.
Oh, okay.
That was interesting. So yeah. Okay. Thank you for contributing, Jano, as you always do.
No problem at all. Thank you for hosting.
Oh yeah. I'd like to start doing more subjects like this. Like I said, I've been asking, and like I said, this just all came together without. I started reading the 6 things that I wish that I knew younger, and it all started falling into place. So I'm just grateful for the lessons for all of us. So yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, everybody, for coming in and contributing. And everybody have an awesome weekend, and namaste.
Good night.
Good night.